what I'm going to do is create another layer. So I have my layers window, and actually that was already out, but you may see your layers window inside of this little sidebar here. Just click on that to open. And what I like to do is I like to drag it away so that it becomes a floating window. If you don't see your layers in this area on the right-hand side of the screen, if you go to the window menu, you can click on that and you can choose layers and it will come up. Okay, so layer one, I'm just going to change to, I'm going to call that artwork. And then I'm going to create a new artboard, or a new layer, I'm sorry. So down here at the bottom of the layer window, there's a little plus sign. It says create new layer. So let's go ahead and create a new layer. And I actually want that to be below my artwork layer. So I'm going to click and drag that layer down below the artwork layer. And if you see as I click and drag, there's a blue, kind of a thicker blue line that appears, and that tells me that is the position that my layer is going to be placed. If I let go of the mouse button, there it is. It moves underneath the artwork layer. So let's just call this layer template. Okay, and with the template layer selected, and actually let's toggle the visibility of our artwork layer. We're going to turn that off. So I have my template layer visible. I have it selected. You can see if I click on that, it's going to turn kind of a gray or blue color. And then I'm going to go to File and Place. And I'm going to choose my first image, my first screenshot that I took. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what order you do these in, which one is first or second or third. I'm just going to choose the first one in my list here and hit Place. Little thumbnail comes in attached to my cursor, and I want it to be sized so that it fits the size of this artboard. So I'm going to click and drag from the top corner to the bottom, or to the, it's not completely square, but I want it to fill the entire artboard, and there it is. And that's pretty low res. Now yours, low res meaning it's very pixelated, it was not a high resolution. And I blew it up quite a bit when I resized it here. But I think it's enough for me to work with. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that, that the edge of the square, this border on the square of my drawing, is right at the edge of my artboard. And I'm using I can use the move tool to move it around. And I can also use the arrow keys on my keyboard to also nudge it into place. So let's say I just want to move this border right to the edge of my artboard. And I can just use the up arrow key on my keyboard if I want to just move it, nudge it by a few pixels. And then I'm going to enlarge it so that it fills the entire artboard. And what you might notice here is as I'm clicking and dragging this, you see how this distorts? So, for example, if I was to just kind of drag to the right and up, then I get kind of a squished, distorted image. Generally, what I want to do is hold the Shift key, or press the Shift key down and click and drag, and that will maintain the proportions as I'm resizing this. So that's generally what you want to do. You want to make sure that you maintain the proportions of your drawing or anything else that you want to resize without distorting it. The thing is that our drawing isn't perfect. So, it's not a perfect square. It doesn't align perfectly with our artboard. But we could distort this just a little bit. So if I just pull, generally when you're resizing, you want to, and you want to keep proportions, you want to drag from these corner anchor points. So basically you're in the move tool, you select the object, in this case an image, you get these little nodes or anchor points, and you click and drag on those. and to click and drag on the corner if you just want to resize something in a general sort of a way, and holding the shift key at the same time, you maintain the proportions of that object. But if I want to, I might just distort this a bit so that it goes all the way to the edge. So I'm going to click and drag on this middle anchor point without holding shift, and just a little bit. I wouldn't want to distort it too much. This is what we're going to use as a template. In other words, we're using this image as something that we're going to trace over the top of. So in order to prepare my template and get ready to draw on my artwork layer, I'm going to double click on the template layer. I don't want to rename it. So to rename a layer, you're double clicking on the name. I don't want to rename it. I want to bring up some options. So I'm going to click away from the name on the layer, and then I bring up a little options panel, and what I want to do is dim my images. So I'm going to click dim images. 50% is a default, and in most cases that should be fine. You actually might want to try something a little lighter, like 20 or 30%. It just depends. Actually, let me go a little bit. Let me go to 20% and see how that looks. Okay. Yeah, no, that's a little too light. Let's go to 40. That seems okay. Now, the reason that we're dimming the images is because we're going to be drawing over the top of these, and we do want to be able to see the image as a guide for our drawing, but we also want to be able to see our drawing too. So we just sort of want to gray this out so that it's there, but it's not, but it's sort of in the background. All right, so let's go ahead and just lock this layer, and I'm clicking right next to where this little eye icon is. Just click right in there, and you get a little padlock symbol, meaning I can't move anything on this layer as long as it's locked, which is good, because we don't want to move this template. We want it to be in the background as we draw on our artwork layer. So I'm going to toggle the artwork layer back on, all right, by clicking where this little eye should be. And now that is turned on, and I'm going to go ahead and select my artwork layer, and I'm going to start drawing on that.